Okay, I'm going to show you today a couple things about 2245 magazines. These are the Tactical Solutions magazines that come with their Pack-Light pistol. They've got the bump pad on them with the spring-loaded so that they reload faster. But one of the things that we started to see in American Marksman, in a condition that a normal person would not normally shoot their gun, is that we were running 5 or 6 competitors back to back to back shooting 50 rounds. So when the pistols got hot, and they did get very hot, what we were finding is in rounds about 7, 8, 9 that we would start to have malfunctions. And we would get malfunctions that were actually like stovepipes, where a round would be sticking out of the ejection port, and the next round was actually on the magazine trying to be fed in like so, with a stovepipe, the empty shell facing out of the magazine tube. So one of the ROs at Alabama said, well, if you grind off this little sharp corner on the back portion, and that notch is there so that you can actually get the rim back down in. But what he said is that if you grind off that portion right here, when the when the bullet feeds, it will feed better, and you won't get this bounce up, which causes some of the malfunctions, either the feed ramp jams or even the stovepipes. Because what happens when the ammo gets really hot is you retard the slide velocity because the pressure goes down. And we're getting these guns very hot, so the temperature is dropping, or is increasing to the point where the pressure on the cartridge is dropping. So last week we tried something. We took 5 magazines. We got the gun as hot as we could. We actually had 4 or 5 shooters shooting constantly, getting a pistol heated up. We put about 200 rounds through it, and we started to get that same malfunction, where we would have a round that was pointed up on the feed ramp with either a stovepipe coming across the top or no stovepipe. We took one of the magazines, and right here on this little corner, this little tip that's right here on the back of the feed lips, we ground that off with a dremel. That magazine, when we did that, we could not make it malfunction from that point on. So here's a disassembled magazine. We have our spring, our follower, the retainer pin, and the base pad, and we've taken it apart, and I'm going to show you what what I've been doing to the magazines to actually make them run better. So here I've got a magazine chucked in the vise, and these front lips, if you actually put your finger on them and run them over, these front lips are nice and smooth. They've actually got this front one rounded off really nice. This back one, though, is sharp. I mean, it'll actually catch your finger and is rather sharp. So what we're going to do is literally take, I don't think you can see in the camera, we're just going to take that little itty-bitty tip right off the top there and test that for function and see how that helps. So I've got a little stone in here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this little edge. And that's going to give them a round in both directions. It's going to give them rounding coming this way, and it's going to give them rounding coming this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Lucas gunmetal polish. I put a little bit in a little tub, get a little bit on my felt. So here's a modified mag. You can see we've polished this, and we've rounded that corner off to be a little more rounded to match all the corners. So now all 8 corners on the top of the magazine are rounded, as opposed to this one where we still have these 2 sharp inner corners. Now I want to show you one thing to be careful of. You can see that the magazine, where the bullet actually ends up when it's at the top of the magazine, in an unmodified mag is just a little bit lower than in the modified mag. Okay? So, you know, that's a couple millimeters of wobble. That's maybe 3 millimeters of wobble. So that it does actually allow the nose of the bullet to sit a little bit higher, but this change of this feed ramp here by being polished is what gives it the benefit. So try one mag, see if it works for you. If you've got a mag that's a problem mag, I mean not even hot, you're having problems with it, try that modification and see if it helps that mag. If you've got mags that are running perfectly, there's no reason to do it. But again, we were running guns that were extremely hot, and so the pressures were lower, and so this helped in functioning with basically lower velocity ammunition.